going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky, I didn't say.
Eat your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Yeah, we're almost through a work week. I know, it's a little weird. We had a kind of a short week. Yeah, so tonight I've got a little bit of a where's my face? Where's my face? I'm not on a camera tonight. I gotta slowly get into that. That's a big jump for me to jump on camera for every video every single night. I'm going to try to do it more and more, but it's not going to be every night at first. And I'm still a little nervous about being on camera. But tonight I've got a special show. I've got 2 sovereign citizen videos. I got 2. The first one's kind of long. Second one's a little bit shorter, but not just because of that. That's not why we have a special show. We got special guests. What up, Rob?
How's it going?
How's it going? How are you?
I'll keep my camera off just to make sure that you don't feel disadvantaged.
Well, yeah, I mean, last time that you were on my channel and your camera was on, all the ladies fell in love with you. So if you could stop that, that'd be great.
Chill it out a little bit. Sounds good.
How are you doing? You're having a good week?
Oh gosh, I was muted. Yes, it's been a bit hectic. I'm in Minnesota, and we had a recent high-profile event, I'll say, and it's been consuming a lot of attention and time. So,
you know what, I don't know what event you're talking about. We don't have to talk about it.
I don't want you to get shadow banned, but there was a mass pewing event that happened last week.
Yeah, I've been out of the country for about 2 weeks now. I don't know. I'll look at that, in my own time. But that's definitely something that I don't usually miss. But I guess not being in the country for a couple weeks does that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel terrible saying this. It wasn't as bad as other ones have been, but it's definitely been something that's kind of shaken our community. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, yeah, no, that sucks. Okay, well, let's not talk about that anymore. So we have 2 sovereign citizens tonight. One of them in Washington, one of them in Michigan. Yeah, I don't really have to say more. The first guy, it's someone that I've covered on my channel multiple times. He actually had a case dismissed, and yeah, he's back in court. So you want to watch it?
Let's go court.
Let's go court. Phil, I didn't touch anything. That's YouTube and StreamYard actually working together for a change. I don't know. I didn't touch anything with the names, but hopefully they don't change them back. I like these names better than the handles. Anyways, all right. You guys know what to do. Before I hit that play button, hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Sovereign citizens, let's go.
That just doesn't change the court date. It does change. Mr. Blatt, can you come on the Zoom call?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
So this is on for pre-trial. So you don't have an attorney, is that correct?
I'm not sure I need one yet.
Okay.
Can I have your name? It says DC.
Your Honor, if I may, a couple of things.
Yeah.
First of all, the state has received a supplemental report and is prepared to establish probable cause at this time. And then also, if the defendant is electing to go pro se, the state would request a pro se colloquy.
Okay, I think that may have already happened. But in any case, so Mr. Blatt, right now, this is on for a pretrial, which is the opportunity for you and the state to discuss the case or maybe come to some sort of resolution. And then it can be, and right now it's set for trial. Otherwise, it would continue on to trial. Your trial confirmation is October 22nd. And then the trial itself would be October 29th and 30th. So I guess where do you said you don't think you need one, but which tells me that you don't have one at the moment. So I guess how do you see this case progressing and playing out?
Can I have your full name and the prosecutor's full name?
My name is Sam Meyer, and the prosecutor's name is Ms. Kidmacher.
Is it Meyer?
Yes.
And the prosecutor's name again is
Last name is Kidmacher.
okay. And first name?
It's Gabby.
Okay. And can I see your oaths of office and official bonding information?
Well, again, speaking only for myself, the answer to that is no. I don't have it on me. I don't carry around with me. I haven't. It's not necessary for me to post my bond. And, the person who needs to, I'd like to know some information from you as to where you see this case headed.
When the officer stopped me, if I were to tell him that I have a license, I have insurance, I just don't have it with me, I don't think that would cut it with him. It's important for a driver to have his license and insurance in order because operating a motor vehicle is a potentially hazardous occupation. The same is true with being a judge or a prosecutor. It's a potentially hazardous occupation because people could get hurt. They could go to jail unlawfully if something goes wrong. So a judge needs an oath of office, which is anomalous to a driver's license. And
Right.
the bond is equal to the insurance that a driver would need to have.
So I do have a oath of office. It's good. The auditor's office. If you want to go there and get it, you can certainly look at it. But like I say, I don't carry it with me. I don't have it on the. I don't have it posted on the wall. I don't believe I'm required to. You are required to have a driver's license when you drive a car. But I don't. We're going down a rabbit hole, which.
Hey, Rob, quick question. When you go into the court, do you carry a Constitution with you at all times?
I do, yes.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've got a pocket Constitution I always have with me.
I was trying to be a smart ass. Nope. Okay.
Yeah,
I failed
but
with that one.
I'm a bit of a rarity in that sense. So.
Yeah, just like, do you carry every single thing? Yeah, I mean, he's comparing apples and oranges, and I understand what he's doing. Like, he's trying to make this comparison that doesn't matter.
Well, in most states do require judges to have bonds. I don't know how Michigan goes or in that sense, but and all that is that the state has an insurance policy to protect against lawsuits if the judge engages in fraud or misconduct. It's not about like not liking their rulings, but there's absolutely no state that I know of that requires a judge to carry or display their bond. In most instances, a judge has zero information about their bond because it's just once they're sworn in, the state has this bond policy for them.
Yeah, the last time I had Judge Slavin on the channel, I asked him about that because I had no idea that whenever a sov sit asks for bond information, like, what is that? Why do you have that? And he's like, yeah, I actually do. I keep it on my desk specifically for sovereign citizens. So when they ask me, I'm like, here you go. Here, you can see it right here, which is hilarious. But he broke it down what exactly what judges' bonds are, and I thought that was just kind of a fictional thing. I didn't know it was real, which is kind of funny. A lot of the sovereign citizen arguments come from something that is real. They just kind of go out of proportion, and yeah, it just doesn't make sense after the first sentence.
Yeah, and like in Minnesota here, judges don't have to have bonds, but like city clerks, treasurers, town clerks, basically anybody who handles money does have to have a bond, and those are just funded by the school district. They just buy the insurance policy. That's all it is. But again, none of them are obligated to display that upon demand to any sov sit who walks up to them.
Right. All right. Someone asked if Judge Slavin's coming back. I actually haven't spoken to him in about 2 weeks. He asked, he wanted to touch base last weekend, and no, the weekend I got here, and I told him that I just spent a day and a half driving, and I was hoping to get in touch with him this past weekend. We did not, so hopefully this weekend. As far as I know, he's still coming back. I don't know. I don't know how that his court case is going though. That's something that I'm keeping hush hush with the information I do know, but I don't really know a lot anymore. So hopefully he'll be back soon. But I did see Judge Shackelford was training a new judge, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've got no new information on Judge Slavin. So yeah, that's all I got. Okay, let's keep going.
Really isn't that productive for you, Mr. Blatt. I'm trying to figure out, where you see this case headed. And it's either going to be set for trial or there's going to be some sort of resolution. And if you think you've identified some issues with me, or you haven't seen my oath of office, if that's an issue on appeal you want to raise, if you get convicted, you can certainly do that. But we're not going to spend a lot of time on, things that don't really matter with regard to your case. You might not believe that it doesn't matter, but it really doesn't. Right now, you're the one charged with driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree. Your options are go forward to trial, which I've told you when that's scheduled on October 22nd for trial confirmation, on October 29th and 30th. And that's kind of, so I guess I'd like some answers from you as to where you see this case headed.
Okay, you just said you don't want to spend a lot of time, but if the prosecutor wants to spend 3 months of my time in a jail, then you have to afford me the time I need to get due process. Now,
Yeah.
at the beginning of this Zoom hearing, I heard you say that the state is charging me, but the paperwork I've been giving says the city of Tumwater is charging me. Could we clarify that?
Yeah, I can clarify that. And that was the mistake on my part. You are correct. It is the city of Tumwater.
But the city of Tumwater is franchised by the state of Washington, right? And it's using Washington statutes to prosecute this case, right?
Saint, how dare you besmirch Herschel? Herschel was amazing. You're besmirching his name right now. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. It does look like him. I'll give you that. It really does.
I don't know about the franchise aspect of it, but it is a municipal case from the city of Tumwater. A lot of times municipalities incorporate on criminal codes and misdemeanors, they'll incorporate the revised code of Washington into their municipality with the law within that municipality. So yes, it could very well be prosecuted under a statute from the revised code of Washington.
Well, that raises some concerns with me because I see to your left, you have the plaintiff's flag behind you. And so are you a neutral entity or are you part of the prosecution?
Yes, I'm a neutral entity. I like to think that, yes.
Then why do you have the prosecution's flag behind you?
It's not the prosecution's flag. It's the flag for there's a flag from the United States of America. There's a flag from the Washington state, and then there's a flag for the county. I am a Thurston County District Court judge. I elected and have jurisdiction within this county.
But the state of Washington enfranchises the city of Tumwater to prosecute people under its statutes, the state statutes. So
I don't agree with your terminology there in terms of what they franchise. If Tumwater is a municipality, they have some discretion as to how they can choose to enforce laws within their municipality. One of the ways they can do that, and they're not alone in this, a lot of cities do this, not everybody. Lacey, for example, has their own municipal code, but Tumwater might not. They might adopt the RCW for things like driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree, DUI, and misdemeanor and gross misdemeanor things and things of that sort. Of course, felonies, that obviously would be under the revised code of Washington, and that would go to Superior Court. That this is limited jurisdiction, and we only deal with misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors. We're contracted to provide court services for certain municipalities within Thurston County, including Tumwater, Lacey, and to name a couple, and that's why you're here. That's how you're here.
are you going to be the judge throughout all the hearings in this process?
I don't know. No, we have a rotating schedule and may or may not. I'm just the lucky one today.
Oh, this is going to put a burden on me to check all the judges' oaths of office and so on.
No, it's not. And don't worry about that. Like I say, our oaths of office are on file, and you can go look at any of them anytime you want.
Okay, I've been given this paper by the court. It says criminal traffic.
Yes.
I'm very upset
Yes.
about being called a criminal. I'm not a criminal, and I want to clear my name. Believe me.
Well, you haven't been convicted of this charge yet, but driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree is a criminal charge. It's a simple misdemeanor. It carries with it a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. As a practical matter, that would be highly unusual for anybody to receive that sort of jail time for a charge of this sort. But driving with license suspended is a criminal offense. It just is, and that was done by the legislature. And
Now, driving and traffic are commercial terms. I mean, you could check it in Black's Law Dictionary. And the police narrative says that I had a passenger in the car. Passenger is also a commercial term. And passenger, according to Black's Law Dictionary and extensive case law, says that it's a customer who pays you to transport him, which
Extensive case law. Extensive. So not just Black's Law Dictionary, extensive case law. Rob, are you familiar with this extensive case law?
I'm familiar with just about every case that they cite, and they misquote it or take certain pieces out of context. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: we don't use Black's Law Dictionary in court. Sometimes on an appellate brief, if there's a question about statutory interpretation of a particular law, you can use Black's Law Dictionary to reflect the word's usage, at the time that the law was passed. But 99% of the time, we use plain use, common language, Webster's Dictionary, things like that. Black's Law is not binding law, and certainly not the 2nd or 5th edition from 1930 or 1970 that they're trying to use.
Oh, well, what am I going to do then? I just got my free copy of the 2nd edition. If I wanted the updated edition, I had to pay for it.
Right. Yeah, because nothing has changed since 1930 or 1970.
Yeah, that's when the United States went bankrupt, and why the corporation exists. So that's how this works.
Yeah, we all became living fictions. Yeah.
Exactly. Not the all caps name. See, we're picking up what everyone's putting down. We got this. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, by the end of this video, we'll both have access to our trust accounts, and we won't have to do YouTube anymore.
Let's go.
is basically trafficking. There's nothing in the police narrative that says that to support the presumption that I was engaged in any commerce or traffic. So the case should be dismissed on that basis.
No, that doesn't matter. If you get behind the wheel and drive a car, you need a license. And there are certain rules and there are certain things happen that can cause that license to get suspended. If it gets suspended and you get caught behind the wheel driving, and the state can prove it, then you would be found guilty. Those terms of Black Law Dictionary, whether they call that a passenger or not, I'm not really sure. But the law that applies in this case, like I've told you before, is the Revised Code of Washington, which deals with licensing and when people can drive and when they're eligible to drive. So all those things you say about, and again, you might not believe me, but those things you talk about, whether it's a passenger, whether it's a commercial term, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is, were you driving and were you validly licensed, or was your license suspended? And that's it. That's what this case is about.
Sir, I was traveling, not driving. Driving is a commercial term.
Okay.
At the time, now I know anything I say can be used against me in court. I'm fully aware of that.
So hang on just a second. Well, it can, but you shouldn't admit that. If by traveling you were in an automobile and conducting that by having an engine running and applying pressure to the gas and brake and turning the wheel, whether it's traveling or driving, that's kind of like, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Sir, I need to make something very clear at the very outset. I'm not going to deny that I was traveling in my private property automobile on the date in question. I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to fight with the prosecutor about what the prosecutor wants to fight about at trial. My defense is going to be something completely different. Now, I know that.
I love the word. I don't even know how you pronounce that. Driveling? Driveling. I just want judges to start using that word.
Let me look and see up driveling in Black's Law Dictionary here. See
Please
what I
do.
can find.
Please do. Driveling. I love it. I love it.
Something on the website for the court. It says jury instructions or jury guide.
Okay, so hang on just a minute. Before we get there, can I take that to mean then that you wish to go to trial on this?
I wish to be left alone.
Okay, well, that's what everybody wants. But right now, where you are is you're charged with the crime of driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree. So again, I've went back to this before. Your options are either come to some sort of resolution with the city, or go to, you're entitled to a jury trial. And then if you win, and you started mentioning, I want to stop you when you started saying things about jury instructions, and that means if you wish to go to trial, you can do that. And we can have a different conversation about your ability to represent yourself, which you certainly have a right to do. But I need to create a record that you're doing that, knowingly and voluntarily with open eyes. The possibility is still in place to have an attorney appointed to represent you, but when we started this conversation, I'm not sure that I need one. Most people, when they're charged with any sort of criminal offense, and again, this is a criminal offense, they take advantage of when they're offered an attorney at little or no cost. But again, that's entirely up to you. But what I need from you is a decision point on how you want to handle this case. Either come to a resolution or go to trial. And if you go to trial, then we're gonna, which is fine. Trial dates are set. But we're going to have a conversation about a few things before we get to a jury.
Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. And once again, happy birthday. Hopefully you had a great day yesterday. And yeah, thank you for your super chat. And now I'm just repeating myself. Andy, thank you so much.
Jury instructions. So again, I need some input from you as to what you wish to do.
I only participate in fair trials, and I have concerns about whether I can get a fair trial in this court. Can I?
Okay. Well, the trial, if it's a jury trial, the people who are going to determine your guilt or innocence will be 6 jurors, will be impaneled from the jury rolls within the county, and it'll be up to them.
There'll be 6 jurors and an alternate juror, right? So
yeah, believe it or not, JoJo, Judge Meyer is the only judge in this, Thurston County area that I've actually seen lose his temper a couple times. I'm not saying he's a bad judge, but out of everyone in that group, he's the only one that shows frustration from time to time. That just tells you, and he's frustrated right now, that this is the most frustrated you'll see a judge in Thurston County. They're all just, they don't get angry.
Yeah, and honestly, I just think he's humoring him a little too much for my take. It's like, I have jurisdiction. Do you want a jury trial or not? That's yes or no is the next word out of your mouth. Right.
That's all he has to say. And yeah, we still have about 20 minutes left of this, dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they keep going. They keep going, and Judge Meyer tries. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil anything.
that's 7,
Yeah,
right?
typically, yes.
Well, this jury guide that you have on the website says that it's the juror's job to listen to all the evidence at trial, and the judges to deal with legal issues, not the jury.
That's true.
That concerns me about whether I can get a fair trial, because the whole purpose of a trial by jury is to consider issues of law. Otherwise, why do we need a jury? Because I've already stated I did the act. I traveled in my automobile on the date in question. I'm not going to deny that. That's the first thing I would tell the jury if it goes to trial.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring up to the jury the issues of law. My question to the court is, how would
here in a second, I'm going to stop you for a second.
Yeah, here's the thing though. You can't argue law to the jury.
Correct.
That's not what the jury's there for. They're not there to argue law.
No, if I was to go up and argue law, the jury would be dismissed. I would be chewed out to living hell, if not threatened with contempt by the judge, and then the jury would be brought back in and told to disregard everything I said. So it's, even if you tried, it's a fruitless endeavor.
Yeah, it doesn't. And we've seen. I mean, Eric Martin tried to do it, and Judge Slavin shut him down. It's just, yeah, no, you don't argue law with the jury. That's not what they're there for.
Well, and that's what all the pretrial motions are for. You know, if I think that there was an illegal search, I do a motion to suppress the evidence of the search, and that's a question of law. It's not a question of whether, you know, the jury doesn't decide whether or not the government's act was constitutional. They're not, you know, they may, some people on the jury may be qualified to make that assessment, but that's a highly technical and nuanced assessment that has to be done by the finder of law, which would be the judge. And so all of those issues about the law are handled in those pretrial proceedings, and then once you're before the jury, it's only about the facts. The jury gets to assess the credibility of witnesses, assess the weight of the facts, and apply them to the law as the judge instructs to them. They don't get to interpret the law. They get instructions that say, here's exactly what the law is and how you have to apply it.
Exactly. You know what? You talk really well. You should try to be a lawyer one day.
I'll try.
You're very good at this.
One day.
One day. I appreciate you, Rob. Thank you. Alicia,
Anytime,
thank you so
buddy.
much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Alicia. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Rob. No, you're awesome. Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's go, court.
You're very wrong about something. Okay, you are very wrong about something. The jury does not decide issues of law. The judge does. The jury decides issues of fact. The jury decides what did happen or not happen. That's what the jury decides. The jury's the fact finder. The judge decides what law the jury listens to. And that's just the way it is. And so when you say the jury decides the law, that's not correct. That's, you know, there's no court in the country that where the jury, in this country anyway, where the jury decides what the law is. The judge decides what's the law is.
He's never been to Florida. I don't know why I thought that was a good joke. It probably wasn't. Let's keep going.
And you can look at any court in any state, in any jurisdiction in the union, and that's the way it is. And so the judge, and then the judge will, following the trial, following the evidence portion of the trial, the judge will instruct the jury on what the law is, and then the jury determines whether or not that person, you, did or did not do what you're being charged with. That's a fact inquiry. And what you're being charged with is driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree, and the jury's going to decide, did this happen or did it not? And if you have issues with the law, they're not fair, you might think this is unconstitutional. I've heard many times people think that, you know, it's not constitutional for a state to require people to get licenses. It is. I've heard that, you know, that there's some, the right to travel is being impinged by the requirements of a license.
Heather. Yeah, I got nothing to that. You know, you could just come in here and just watch it with me. And yeah, it would alleviate that issue.
Colinception is a awesome word that you need to like use somehow.
Yeah, Colinception and driveling. We're
I'm gonna write the editors of Black's Law for suggestions for the next edition.
There we go.
It's not. All of those things have been looked at by courts much above me, have decided that that's what the law is. And any instruction you're going to get on the law, or the jury's going to get from the law, has all been vetted in front of courts of appeals and the Washington State Supreme Court, and that's the way it is. But you need to be clear: the jury does not and will not decide the law. The judge will determine that. And what I was going to say to you in advance of that is, you might not get to present. Maybe this is why you think you don't get a fair trial. Some of these legal issues you wish to argue, you might not be able to do that. Probably not. because that's just what the law is. And I know what the law is based on my experience. And I may or may not be the trial judge if it goes that far, but I just know that to be the case. So we're going to stop here for a second because it's but don't leave because it's at 2:30 and we have some other people coming on at 2:30. We're going to take care of those cases and then I'll come back and speak with you some more. All right.
I understand you believe all that nonsense, but I'm going to have a trial by jury, not a jury trial. A jury trial is 6 people that only consider the facts. And basically, juries have been neutered since the rules of evidence have been implemented in the 1936. But this jury is going to hear the law as well as the facts. And I'm just curious. I would like to know how the judge would, how the court would stop me from communicating with the jury.
Contempt, handcuffs, and jail. That's how the court's going to stop you. Yeah,
and a gag. You could literally, it's constitutional, as crazy as it is, to gag and restrain a defendant for court proceedings.
Yeah. Skittle shit's got it right. Duct tape. Yeah, he can't talk. He's the defendant. We're just going to talk at him. If we need him to moan, we'll ask him a question. Yeah, no, the court's going to stop you from talking. They will remove the jury. They're not going to let you ramble on. The funny thing is, this is this guy's 3rd case in the last, 2 years. The last 2 cases have been dismissed. Every time that he's back in front of court or in front of a judge, he gets amped up more and more. Like I think this is going to be terrible for him. Hopefully that the prosecution doesn't actually drop it this time. Poutine fee. Thank you so much, Andy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh man, I just had some poutine at the state fair last week. It was amazing.
In Minnesota?
Yep.
I would imagine Minnesota's poutine is probably on a level close to Canada. So I will say good job. Good decision.
We are just little Canada down here, so
You are. Minnesota.
Well, that's a good question. I guess you'll find out if you take this to trial. But we're going to stop for a minute. I'm going to there's a couple people who we're going to take these cases, and then we'll come back to you. But don't leave. Mr. Merrill, do you want to come on the Zoom call there, please?
You decide on that other case. The docket does not reflect a pro se colloquy having.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Blatt, I'll come back to you.
Well, it's not just gravy fries. It's cheese curds
and pork belly or bacon.
Okay, so that's the Minnesota way, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't have bacon or pork belly. It's not poutine in my book, but I'm not going to challenge the fine people of Quebec on that.
All right. Well, I'm not going to start a fight either. So let's just keep going. I feel like this is a conversation.
We don't need an international incident. Colinceptioning its way in here.
Yeah, we're all driveling to Canada right now for Colinception because the poutine doesn't have meat on it. I didn't know. You know what? Let's just keep going. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to start a fight. So let's just keep going.
So I think when last we talked, you said you wanted a trial by jury or a jury trial. To me, again, that's
when last we talked. So there was only about 20 minutes in between this. So Judge Meyer called, I think, 1 or 2 more cases. when last we talked. Yeah, it was 20 minutes. I'm going to put you on hold for an hour to see if you're still there. I feel like that's what that conversation was. When last we talked.
Yeah, and judges do have to move their docket, but sometimes they can, I'm not going to impugn the honor of any judges, but sometimes the more difficult cases, the plaintiffs defendants end up just having to wait, an abnormally long amount of time to have their cases heard, and shucks.
Exactly. Usually when I'm waiting for a sovereign citizen in a specific docket, it's always at the very end. It's always at the end. The judge knows, like, this is going to take way too long. We're just going to put you at the end. That happens a lot. All right, let's go.
I did not say that. I want to be left alone. That's what I
Totally so.
said.
Okay, okay. Well, again, that's what everybody wants. So do I. But nonetheless, where you're at right now, you're charged with driving with license suspended in the 3rd degree. And you had made the distinction, I think you had, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't mean to misstate things. You were making a distinction between jury trial and trial by jury. And I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that.
Well, a
Yeah, me
trial
either.
by jury, which is what we used to have before the passage of the 19th Amendment, when women got the right to vote and therefore got the right to sit on juries. Juries had the right to investigate the crime scene.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and list that with the worst thing you could possibly say to a jury.
It all went downhill when the women started voting.
And women's suffrage, like that's what coming out of this guy's mouth next. Oh my gosh, why would you say that in court? The prosecutor's female too. Oh, she's just sitting there like, oh, like please keep talking, my friend, keep talking. Why would you bring that up? There is nothing to gain from that. All right, let's go.
To consider the law, to nullify. Basically, it was a trial by jury. Now it's a jury trial where the jury's neutered. There's only 6 of them. They're cut in half, and they're not allowed to. They're scurried out of the courtroom every time there's important adult issues to consider, like children, and that's just nothing. That's not a trial by jury. But anyway, I have a dispositive motion right now that might settle everything here.
Okay, we'll set that for a motion hearing, though. We do those on Monday morning. Did you file it in writing?
I'd like to do that. I prefer everything to be in writing. So can we schedule a motions hearing?
We certainly can. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about, it again appears to me, well, we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, I am going to find, based on, there's a police report filed in sector. Based on that, I'm going to find that probable cause exists. And then we're going to set conditions of release, which basically are make all your court dates, don't drive without license or insurance, and don't have any other criminal law violations. Based on our conversation thus far, it appears to me that you wish to represent yourself at trial. Is that true?
I don't understand that terminology. I am myself, so why would I want to represent myself? Only corporations need to be represented because they can't speak for themselves in court. I'm not a corporation. I'm a human being.
So you wish to proceed to trial without a lawyer?
Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. Walleye in the... Wait, what? Walleye in the Soats fee? I don't know what that is. How is it these days? Walleye? I haven't had walleye in years, so I don't know.
Oh, we have great walleye here.
Well, there you go. Walleye is great in Minnesota.
It's our state fish.
Is it? I can't tell you the last time I had walleye. It's been years since I've had it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I've never had a fish I didn't like. Okay, let's keep going. I think he meant Minnesota. Didn't I say Minnesota?
I heard Minnesota.
Okay.
Comments have blown up from poutine now to talking about Minnesota. So that's awesome.
Yes. Short for Minnesota. We call it the Soats. Oh, okay. All right. I got you. The Soats.
The Soats. Okay, all right.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
No, I wish to be left alone. That's my only wish.
But yeah, that's true. But that's one that's not going to happen in terms of this case. It is set for trial. The trial will take place. And my question to you is, you have the right to have a lawyer with you during trial, and you also have the right to go it alone, all by yourself. And so, Mike, those are your two options. Which of those do you wish to take?
Well, I have some concerns about being represented by an attorney because attorneys in this state are licensed and franchised to make a living in the plaintiff's courtroom only at the pleasure of the plaintiff, right?
No.
Well,
I
If,
mean, you're under a lot of, you have a lot of unfortunate and incorrect impressions. You really do. And that's really unfortunate. And I'm trying to.
Wait a second, Rob. You get paid by the prosecutors?
Oh, only under the table after I sell somebody down the river, to cut a sweet. No, but beyond that, he said attorneys are licensed at the behest of prosecutors. The vast majority of attorneys will never see the inside of a courtroom. They're working in boardrooms and corporate offices.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's great. This guy is worth the entertainment about. Now you know why I wanted to invite you on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this guy, like he is like the complete like blackout bingo card for anybody's soft sit bingo.
Absolutely. I think he's hit every line. The only thing he didn't say was that he's here by special appearance. He's not here by general appearance. I think that might be the only thing he missed. There's still time. There's still time.
Still time.
Let you know, and again, you're just wrong about a lot of things, and I'm sorry about that.
Does the plaintiff have the power to disbar the attorney if the
No,
plaintiff...
absolutely not. I don't know why you would think that. That's completely not true.
Well, I personally know attorneys who have been blacklisted because the courts don't like the way they defend clients because they do it too effectively. For example, Lee Eckhart was not disbarred because he never did anything wrong, but he was blacklisted, which means any client he hired automatically lost. And he had to inform each client that wanted to hire him he would lose.
Why is the defense attorney hiring clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, the blacklisting and automatic losing, that's just hilarious. I mean, there are some complete a-hole attorneys that judges don't like. And judges are people too, and they might be a little bit rough on the attorneys. But even the most, the most upset judge I've seen doesn't hold it against the client themselves. They'll rip the attorney in for the attorney's work, but they're still going to follow the letter of the law and go through it. Now, why you would want to hire an attorney that pissed off every judge in the district that might not be a great decision. But if he is, there's no such thing as blacklisting and there's no such thing as automatically losing. But judges are people too, and if you handle yourself unprofessionally, you're going to have a reputation and your work might be more scrutinized.
Hello. All right, Rob.
All right, I think I'm back. I lost all my audio. I couldn't hear anything there for a second.
Yeah, I'm getting this echo. I don't know if it's coming from my side or if my voice is coming from your side, but I keep hearing an echo and people are saying that.
Yeah, I've got a headset on. Maybe I'll try taking the headset off and see if that works any better.
All right. Well, when you mute yourself, I don't hear the echo.
All right. I'll just take my headset off. Is that any better?
I think so. I don't know. Or yeah, we'll figure it out. All right,
sounds good.
I don't know anything about that individual. I don't know anything about that. You're asking me, I guess, in this court, whether, or just generally, whether the plaintiff, in this case would be the prosecutor, has the right to disbar attorneys. And the answer to that is no, they don't.
The plaintiff is the state of Washington because Washington.
Well, in the city of Tumwater, in this case, remember we talked about that.
Yeah, but the city of Tumwater is a subdivision of the state of Washington.
But they can still bring case. So again, what do you want to do for your upcoming trial in terms of an attorney or have one with you or go it alone?
Not sure I need an attorney at this point because we'll have to
So
see what
again, that's
the
a binary
prosecutors-
choice. So then from that, I can tell you, you're choosing to go it alone. And have you ever done this before? Have you ever conducted a trial of any sort?
Just look at my record.
That's, again, I can see your record, but that none of it tells me whether or not you've done a trial by yourself before. So, Mr. Blatt, have you ever conducted a trial before by yourself?
I didn't come here to answer questions. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love that. I'm not answering your questions, Judge. All right.
So,
In other words, I've lost every damn time.
Exactly.
then I'm going to talk, and then we're going to set a date, and then we'll conclude the hearing.
I need to bring something to your attention, if I may.
I'm sorry?
I need to bring something to your attention. The United
Go ahead.
States.
Oh, please do. Please bring something to our attention. This is just entertainment that's never stopping. Just don't stop talking.
My body is ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
The United States Constitution, at Article 1, Section 1, states that when the state is a party, which is this case, excuse me.
I know where he's going.
Let me get it for us.
Well, that's good. I don't think he knows where he's going. He had to put his
When the
glasses
state,
on everything.
it says in all cases in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. This is in the United States Constitution. Now, the Washington State Constitution says that a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is necessary. This is a fundamental principle. When the state is accusing a citizen of a crime against the state can't take the defendant to trial in its own court. That would be a conflict of interest. It has to take it to a neutral court, which is the United States Supreme Court. It says it clearly here at Article 1, Section 1 in the United States Constitution.
So, again, I'm going to speak for a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn it back to you, and we're going to set a date here. And again, I don't, first of all, this case is headed for trial. And again, it doesn't appear that you're interested in having an attorney appointed to represent you, so you'll be going it alone. When you have the constitutional right to do that, but you need to know that you're not an attorney. Apparently, you have very low opinion of attorneys generally, and a very low opinion of the system itself. Could you tell Mr.
I have no problem with the law.
Hang on, let me finish. I'm not done yet. The city of Tumwater is going to be represented, and I know you don't like that term either, by an attorney. That attorney is trained in the rules of evidence, trained in the rules of procedure, been through trial many times. And again, I don't know whether you have or not. And so they are experienced in the rules of evidence, which is important. You spoke disparagingly of the rules of evidence earlier. And they have training in that, which again.
Yeah, Maggie's holding the cue cards. We've already decided this is Herschel from The Walking Dead, so Maggie's in the room somewhere. Glenn might be there too. No idea. Haven't really heard any other voices yet.
Is important, and I'm going to assume you don't. And many of the things that you've talked about, you're incorrect on. It's unfortunately, you're just incorrect about some things. And so you're going to be at a big disadvantage when you go to trial without an attorney going it alone. Do you understand this?
Isn't it the prosecutor's job to decide whether I'm wrong on issues? You're supposed to be neutral. The prosecutor hasn't even argued against me, and you're already saying that I'm wrong.
No, I'm trying to, believe it or not, and you probably won't. I'm actually trying to help you, let you know that this is just the way things are going. This is the way that this.
I'm not disparaging Maggie. Maggie's Herschel's daughter. I was just making the connection. And how was that too soon on Glenn? Yeah, You know what? Let's just move on. Yeah. Everyone, Han Solo died. Just so we know that too. Too soon? Yeah, I guess so. Let's go.
This will happen. I'm not siding with the prosecutor. I'm just saying that this is what, and it's not the prosecutor's job really to decide what the, prosecutor and defense, they disagree all the time on what the law is or what should be. And then I'm the one who gets to decide one way or the other. But some of the things that you're saying are so outside the norm that I don't need to hear from them. And I'm trying to let you know that what you think is going to happen and what you think the way things work is simply just not correct. And, I'll go back to that fundamental, I can't speak to the way juries were back in the 19th century. I just know how they are now. And I know that the jury's job in the cases of this sort is to find facts. That's what it is. And the judge is going to instruct them on the law. That's how it is. And the judge is going to determine what's going to be admissible or what's not. And that's just the way the trial is going to go. And I'm trying to let you know that is just to give you advance warning. So when you're in the middle of a trial saying, hey, what's going on here? You just at least have an idea of what's coming. That's all I'm trying to do. And I want to make sure that if you go to trial alone, you're going in with open eyes, understanding that you're at a fairly huge disadvantage. And so, but knowing all that, that's still the avenue you want to take.
You said the jury's job is to decide the facts, but there's no facts to decide because I'm acknowledging all the facts. I'm acknowledging all the facts. I'm not going to challenge them. I'm not going to fight with the prosecutor about what the prosecutor wants to fight about. My issue is the law. And I'm not saying the law is wrong. It's a question of whether the law, this particular law that I'm charged under, applies to me, whether I'm a person within the meaning of the statute. Now, the jurors are taxed to pay legislators to make up laws for their benefit, yet they're not allowed to know what the laws are. Don't you think there's something wrong with that?
If that was true, there's something wrong with it.
Well, I guess my response to that is, I think most people are aware that when you get behind the wheel of an automobile and conduct it in traffic, you need a license. And there are certain things that can happen that can get your license suspended. I think most people know that.
Well, my position is I never had a license, never applied for a license, and I was not engaged in traffic. I was engaged in travel. Traffic is going to be the issue at this trial. And
well, that it'll be up to the jury it'll be jury to determine whether you were in traffic or traveling. That's
excellent.
And the issue that you said, well, I never had a license, so it couldn't be suspended. I've seen people try this before, and I've never seen it work.
License.
And so here's what we're going to have. Hang on just a second. Here's what we're going to do today. So right now, trial is set for October 29th and 30th. Jury confirmation is set for October 22nd. You said you had a motion you want to bring. That'll be heard on, what do we do? Yeah. That'll be heard on October 20th. You need to have that filed in writing by October 6th. And the state will have the response filed by October 13th.
Your Honor, if we could please request the defendant's email address so that the response motion can be sent to him as he's not per se.
Did you hear that, Mr. Blatt?
Not really.
They want it because so you're going to file something, and they're going to see it. They should have the opportunity to respond to it, and they want to get their response to you, and they want to do that through email.
That's fine.
So what is your email?
LeonSBlatt@yahoo.com. LEON, S as in Sam.
Sorry,
Uh-oh.
guys. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's played this today. Hopefully, yeah. No one email that guy, please. Please. Don't be weird. Just don't be weird.
I don't know.
How many judges work in this court that could be on this case?
4.
Well, okay. Can I have their names?
Sure. There's Kayla Wilcox, Brett Buckley. You already know my name. And then there's a commissioner named Paul Wool. It's all on the district court website. You can just go look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
And my guess is that judge, whoever hears the motion, is probably going to have a conversation with you again, or at least try to, about the concept of representing yourself and the disadvantage. And again, I know you hate that word. I'm sorry if that offends you in some way, but or going to trial alone without the assistance of an attorney. That's just.
I never expressed hate for any statute or attorney or wording or the.
I don't say that. Again, I'm not suggesting you are. I think that, or if I did use that term, I apologize. I just think that, I'm spending a lot of time with this because I just think you're under some misunderstandings of a lot of real basic points. And, in terms of, we're here in district court.
Yeah, Lizette, you're right. Everyone here is weird to a certain degree. We watch court for entertainment, right? And Rob works for court and still gets off work after, I don't know, 12-hour days and still comes to hang out with us. We're all weird.
Yeah, I'm very unwell.
I'm not going to comment on that. Hopefully that was a joke. Hopefully you're not unwell.
No,
But,
I'm all right.
Good. Let's just not reach out to that dude. I know I left the email in. I will go through and edit it out, but it takes a while to process. YouTube won't process it for like 48 hours. So it's going to be in there. So let's just not reach out to him. That's all I'm asking.
The state of Washington, you want to talk a little constitutional law? State of Washington Constitution sets superior courts of records. It's also in the Constitution that they can set and create such inferior courts as, by statute through the legislature. The legislature has done that. They have established this level of court through Chapter 3 in the Revised Code of Washington, if you want to look there. There's also a mechanism in place where district courts can contract with municipalities to provide court services. All this stuff has been litigated through the Court of Appeals and the Washington State Supreme Court. And again, it's just pretty standard stuff. And I've tried to spend some time explaining it to you. Unfortunately, I don't think I've been very successful. I'm sorry about that. I wish I was more successful, but you can research all that out. And I guess when you talk about one thing I will go back to that I should have said earlier, when you say the jury, you want to argue the law to the jury and shouldn't they know the law and so forth. A lot of that happens in the Court of Appeals and the Washington State Supreme Court. Again, I'll instruct the jury or whoever the judge is, whether it's me or one of my colleagues, will instruct the jury on the law. The jury will decide the facts and then apply the law as I instruct them to it. Now,
yeah, I feel like Judge Meyer was just over it today. He doesn't usually give this much latitude to a defendant. I'm guessing he's just like, you know what? I've got nothing better to do. I am going to try to learn you something today. That's the only thing that makes sense to me for him spending so much time on this guy. But whatever. It makes for a good video for us, so I'm not complaining.
If I'm wrong about the law and you turn out to be right, all that's handled at the appellate level. You would file an appeal if you're convicted, and then you would, the court at first superior court would look at it and see if I made a mistake on the law, or you're right on the law, and then it keeps going up all the way to the Court of Appeals, and then eventually to the Washington State Supreme Court, all they may or may not choose to take it. And so that's where the issues of law are decided.
Everything you just said about the evolution of the law is true. However, the Washington State Constitution says that a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is necessary for a free state. That's what it says. So that means we eventually get so convoluted to oppress citizens of the state that we have to go back to fundamental principles.
Right. And again, I do want to address your last thing, in terms of oppression. Again, let's remember what we're talking about here. And that is, your license was suspended and you were alleged to have been driving. I know you have to say, well, you were traveling or whatever. And that's just, again, the only issue is, were you conducting an automobile and was your license suspended? And that's it. That's what this case is all about.
An automobile is different from a motor vehicle, and I believe the statute refers to motor vehicles. Motor vehicle.
Yeah, and motor vehicles encompass a lot of things. A motor vehicle can be a motorcycle, it can be an automobile, it can be, so, and I think that that's generally pretty accepted that an automobile is a motor vehicle.
No, a
I
motor
mean, I
vehicle.
believe that it is,
A motor vehicle
unless
is
it runs by, I'm sorry, unless
Motor
it's the
ve-
Flintstones where they just run on the ground, then that's not a motor vehicle, but I'm joking, but perhaps I shouldn't be.
a motor vehicle is a specific legal term in commerce. It's a
Oh yeah, you can't joke with this guy. The Flintstone reference. I mean, I think he was alive when the Flintstones were. He probably still doesn't understand that joke.
He worked at the factory with Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. Or he was he was preparing the meat. You know, like they always put that like giant rack of ribs on the car and it tipped over. I think that's what this guy did.
He does kind of look like that bird that they used to pull for the whistle, though.
All right, fair. I think that one wins. That one, he invented the wheel. You're giving him too much credit for inventing the wheel, Saint. Way too much credit. This guy looked at the wheel and thought it was a dumb idea.
business machine, like a truck, a taxi, or a bus that makes its business on the publicly funded roadways, which it does not have a right to do. A person who
You, again, in Washington, and again, a motor vehicle includes a car. It does. And again, where do you get your driver's license? You go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV. That's where you get a driver's license for cars. And
Well,
so
when
it
you-
makes sense that, and again, I don't want to, we're going down a rabbit hole that was really not productive for either one of us, frankly. But, and again, I will just tell you that a motor vehicle includes automobiles within the terms of this statute in this state. It just does. And you
I'll
can
just
argue
I'll address this in my brief.
otherwise, but you're not going to be successful.
I'll address this in my briefs and my motions, but of course, the prosecutor and you will just pretend like you haven't even read it, like it. I've been through this
Well, I
many
don't-
times. Been through this many
No, I
times.
can't
and judges-
speak. Okay, I'm going to stop you again. I won't speak for the prosecutor, but if it's me, I'll read it. I'll read all of it.
But my experience has been, I'm sorry to say, to accuse you, but my experience has been that judges will just pretend that they haven't read it. They'll say,
Oh.
I read it and I found it's not correct.
And
But
if
they
you
never
can-
talk about, they never
You
talk
can-
about the issues.
Again, I don't want to talk about things that haven't even happened yet. So maybe it'll be me and then we'll see what happens. But do you know when you need to get your brief due? Your
By October
motion?
6th, October 6th,
Yeah.
and the response by October 13th.
And we'll all reconvene on October 20th and hash it all out. Whether it's me or one of my colleagues, I don't know.
Okay,
That'll conclude the hearing for today.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope they put that brief
So
online.
Mr. Lease was on. You're free to go. Mr.
All right,
Lease
I'm
was
going.
on.
All right, I'm
He
going.
left. He might have been called by his attorney.
All right, then.
So there we have Mr. Olive.
Is the
Hello.
defense attorney?
No one's on the Zoom call.
Okay.
Cut it out.
I would not have made an attorney wait through that. So I stopped to take care of Mr. Merrill.
Something
do
tells
we
me
know
I didn't.
anything about
I
Mr.
didn't
Olive?
end.
If I can have a minute to pull Mr. Sharp back in here, who's handle after we.
I just fast forwarded. Rob, yeah, you said you hope that we get to see that. We'll see the October 20th hearing. So hopefully we'll get to see the arguments. But yeah, October 20th.
I don't know if Washington posts the documents online. My state does. So I just want to read his brief. I want to be dazzled by his legal prowess.
You know who would be a good person to ask how to find that? Dan, who practices in Washington.
Dan, we need you.
Dan, are you here? Dan, we need some help finding legal documents. All right. Well, that one was fun. So October 20th is the next time we're going to see Mr. Blatt. Like I said before that video even started, he I've seen him on 2 other cases, and both the other 2 cases have been dismissed. So he's gotten cocky, and every time the second case he came back when he won that, he was cocky. Now when I say win, it was dismissed for whatever reason. I don't even remember why it was dismissed. But as far as the defendant sees it, that's a win. Whether or not it was dismissed because an officer didn't show up, it's still a win. But yeah, so he's got a big head. Anyways, let's move on. I've got one more stop sit to show you. We're gonna move to Michigan now. We're leaving Washington. We're heading to Michigan. We got Judge Hammonds. This is Mr. Renfro. I've covered this guy a few times. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys are gonna recognize him. I think OSG covered this earlier today. Everyone was waiting for this guy today. Everyone was. So I'm surprised that I think I only saw it on OSG's channel today. Maybe a couple others. I don't know. But anyways, this is a mess. Let's go.
The record, please.
Morning, Your Honor. Attorney Benjamin Stolper, appearing on behalf of the City of Burton.
Thank you, Mr. Renfro. If you would state your name.
Christopher Allen, House of Renfro.
Thank you. Today is the date and time set for a jury trial in the misdemeanor matter in this case, and then we also have the 2 civil infractions that I plan to handle after we finish with the jury trial. I just wanted to have a short pre-trial to ensure that we are ready to proceed on that jury trial. And so, Attorney Stolman, are you ready to proceed today with the jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Renfro, are you ready to proceed today on the jury trial?
I'm always ready to defend myself, but I still do not
Can you stand up,
consent.
please?
I still do not consent to these trials. These are done on fraud. For the tickets were what initiated the stop, and now you're trying to get me on a crime that hasn't even been. We haven't dealt with the initial problem here. So until that's dealt with, how do we know if I committed a crime?
All right, well, one, I'm not trying to get you on anything that's not, stop, I'm not finished. Mr. Renfro, you stopped speaking and then I started speaking, and to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. When I start speaking, everybody else stops. That's how court works. I've already warned you of that multiple times, so don't test me today because we're gonna be in front.
Andy, thank you so much for the super chats. My Soats walleye fee. Now I'm gonna have to have some walleye. I'm gonna have to get some now. You guys have been talking about it all night. I know let's see. I think Heather went to sleep. We've got trout, salmon, and some other whitefish in the freezer. But yeah. Heather's family's big into fishing, so she has a bunch of fish in the freezer. I don't think she has any walleye though. But now I want some walleye. It's gonna happen.
In front of a jury, and if you start doing it in front of a jury, like I've also told you before, it's not going to happen. I will excuse them, we will have a conversation, and I will hold you in contempt. Okay? As I was saying, I'm not trying to get you on anything. I'm the court, prosecutor's office, files charges. There's 1 misdemeanor charge. There are 2 civil infractions. You will have the opportunity in your trial to question the officers and to have those questions answered that you have about why you were stopped and et cetera, et cetera.
Jedi, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm hungry too. I ate right before the stream started, and we're talking about fish. I'm hungry now too. Dang it. Looks like I'm okay. Jedi, thank you.
That's why we have the trial, and that's why we're having the trial. I am well aware that you do not consent to these proceedings. I am well aware that you don't think the legal process in and of itself is legitimate, but the simple fact is that it is, and you are supposed to be here, and we are moving forward with this case today. So what we will do is this. Now that we've established that everybody is ready to go on the jury trial, I will let the jury board know that we are ready and that we are proceeding today. So anyone who has witnesses that need to be here, make sure that they are here. Make sure you have all your documentation in order. If there are any exhibits that the parties wish to present, I would appreciate if you at least try to exchange those exhibits in advance. I know this is a little bit more difficult case than some others, but at least try to do that. And let the other person know, maybe there could be a stipulation or not, that's okay. And then the last thing before we take a break, which is what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a break so that we can handle the rest of the cases that are here, and then we'll start the jury trial. The issues of jurisdiction, I've already ruled that this court has jurisdiction. That's not an issue that gets brought up in front of the jury.
I object. I have a right to object.
Don't. You can object to evidentiary hearings or evidentiary hearing issues. You cannot object to jurisdiction in front of a jury. If you do it, I'm going to excuse the jury and I'm going to hold you in contempt for not following the rules of court. These are not my rules. They are the rules of the courts of Michigan. In this big book here that I hope you've read, because you're getting ready to start a jury trial, and I really hope you've read these because it's the court rules and the rules of evidence, and you need to know these things. Because if you don't do it right, I'm not gonna give you any leeway on that. We've already talked about this. One more time, Mr. Renfro, are you sure that you do not want to speak to an attorney about this matter before you move forward?
I'm sure. Actually, I do not have my discovery for the case. I haven't been able to go over the evidence. It has not been served to me. I do not have the police body cams that I've requested a long time ago. I paid for half of them, have not received them. I've not been able to go through any evidence where they're trying to get me on crimes before the initial stop was a civil infraction and somehow bred a crime out of that. It's an unarrestable offense, the civil infraction. You cannot, that's fruit of the poisonous tree. So now we're here on crimes and taking care of the initial.
Rob, is that a word? Unarrestable. Is unarrestable a word?
Unarrestable? No, unarrest is technically a word. Maybe he meant an arrestable offense.
It's an unarrestable offense. That doesn't. There's too much going on in that.
There's too many modifiers in that noun.
Yeah, I can't even follow it. It is an unarrestable offense. Okay. All right. So you have to be arrested to be unarrested. All right. So then if it's you know what? Let's just keep going. I'm thinking way too hard about this. Let's keep going. Non-arrestable. He said unarrestable, didn't he? He said unarrestable. Did he say non? Okay. If he said non, then I apologize. I like my word. We're just making up words tonight. Let's go.
So the tickets have to be first, and we're not moving anywhere until we get that clear. And you're in improper jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, and personal jurisdiction. And we're not gonna move nowhere until we get this taken care of. I demand this court to vacate these matters. I say vacate, you say dismiss. Vacate.
Oh, we're not going anywhere until we figure this out. Yeah, no, that's not how it works, buddy.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see how it works out for him. Yeah. Wrong judge to play that game with. I don't even know if there's a right judge to play that game with. Let's just put it that way.
These matters immediately.
Done? One, I've already said that I'm not going to vacate, and dismiss is the right word. I already said that. Two, I've already said that jurisdiction is appropriate. We have subject matter jurisdiction in this matter. We also have personal jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdictions because you're in a criminal court in the state of Michigan, and that is what we are dealing with. In fact, it's a misdemeanor, so you're in the right criminal court being district court, so we have subject matter jurisdiction. We have personal jurisdiction over you because it alleges that this matter happened in Burton, and Burton is in the jurisdiction of the 67th District Court. So we have both personal and subject matter jurisdiction. Those issues are laid to rest. If you want to bring them up again, you can bring them up on appeal. You will not bring them up again in this hearing because we are getting ready to start a jury trial, and those are issues that are not appropriate to bring up in front of a jury. And as far as your issues of civil infractions leading to misdemeanors, happens all the time, and it is legitimate as established by our Supreme Court. So you can say that if you want to, but your argument is inaccurate. Once again, Mr. Renfro, your argument is inaccurate. You didn't answer my question. My question was, do you want to speak to an attorney before you move forward?
I'm a competent man.
It's a yes or no?
Lawfully competent man, no.
No. The answer is no. All right, I've asked you that question many a times now. I don't feel like I need to ask it to you anymore. You've established very clearly that you're going to represent yourself in this matter, for better or worse. Attorney Stoltman, do you have anything that you would like to say in regards to any of the issues that Mr. Renfro has brought up?
Judge, I know he has not made a demand for discovery or request for discovery. I'll give him another copy of the police report, which is the only thing he's asked my office for. I'll give another copy. I believe he has made a FOIA request to the city regarding documents. I don't know whether or not that request has been granted, but I don't believe the FOIA request was all relevant to this case. I believe it was for more documents.
And I believe, Mr. Renfro, you've stated that on the record previously, that the body cams or whatever those were, that you FOIA'd them. The prosecutor's office is required to turn over to you all of the evidence that they have and all the evidence that they plan to use, and they have done that. We've had discussions about discovery numerous times. We're not going to delay the trial any longer. So we're gonna have this trial today. Okay.
Judge, we have no exhibits that we're planning to introduce. We're just gonna have the testimony of the officer and Mr. Renfro if he chooses.
Okay. Are you trying to say something?
Is the warrant in here? I don't see the warrant. Or the,
This is the second time you've been given those documents. Do you have the warrant from last time? Or the other time
I've
that
asked
someone
this
gave you that?
court numerous of times for the discovery. I have to have it to fight in the trial. I have to have the exhibits to be able to see what's going on or the moves that were made to get me in this position. So that
Answer the
warrant,
question, Mr. Renfro. The question was last time when they delivered to you the discovery after you refused it, because you actually said you didn't want it because you were confused about how the court rules work. You got the discovery. Did you get the warrant in that discovery? It's not necessary,
I didn't
just
get
so
the
you know, but I'm gonna
discovery.
make sure that you have it. Do you have it or not?
No.
Okay, the answer is no. So here's what I'm going to do, unless there's an objection. I am going to provide the statements for probable cause as well as warrant and complaint copy out of the file. So Mr. Renfro has that. He doesn't have any complaints about not having it. Mr. Our Attorney Stolman, do you have any objection to that?
No.
Okay, all right, so we'll make a copy of that, Mr. Renfro, and I, quite frankly, I'm pretty confident that this has already been given to you, but we'll make you another copy so that you have it right now. I can copy that. Okay, all right, we will pause on this matter and we will come back in not too.
All right. We didn't get to see the jury trial. They didn't air it. I was really hoping they would. They didn't. So that's it for Mr. Renfro. I think we can all imagine how his jury trial ended up, but it would have been fun to watch. It would have been. Anyways, Rob, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Lots of fun. Thank you very much, Colin, and thank you for all the commenters. One last thing before you guys leave, make sure you put a like on this video. We have a lot more people watching than have liked the video, and that doesn't sound right to me.
Yes. All Rob is asking for is a like. So hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rob. Any final words before we say goodnight? Rob?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But no, everybody, I appreciate you guys all hanging out. And Colin, I greatly appreciate the invite, and let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Will not be the last time. Thank you so much for jumping on. I do appreciate it.
Take care, friend.
Especially late notice too. I didn't ask you till what, like 3 or 4 hours ago. So I appreciate the last minute jump on.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Well, Rob, thank you. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for the super chats. I don't think we had any gifted memberships or super chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the super chats. And mods, as always, thank you so much for your hard work. I'm going to let the rest of this video play out. There's only about 10 seconds left, so I'm just going to let it play, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Until next time. Oh, we got to rate somebody. Why do I always... I am terrible at this. I wish I could just set it up when I first start. When I start a stream. When I schedule it. Let's just set up a raid then. Grammar School's live. We'll go hang out with Grammar School. Let's go hang out with Grammar School tonight. Okay, you guys are awesome. Tell Grammar School I said hello. That's it. That's all I got. Until next time. Bye.
Long, and we'll get started on that jury trial. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Selena. Anybody from Speedway? Is there anybody from Speedway? very much.